thinking about water issues that affect the community and go large. It's definitely something that you guys want to check out. We left some information, a press release on the back table, and we're going to have some flyers there about performance as well. If you would like to go ahead and get tickets, the tickets do go to help with this cause. The tickets are at our website, Davelois, which is DAVALOIS, Fearon, FEARON.com, and you can also get tickets to the Bronx Academy through your website. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, Mike, thank you. Good luck. Kathleen Caruso? Caruso? Kathleen, the public library. Excuse me, sorry.
My name is Kathleen Bronson from the American Library, Worcester Square, and I'm Leslie Brown from the Manchester Library here. We want to again to say thank you all for your support. We also for all community. Thank you for your support. And I know you all have heard that we are going to be having new hours in the library. So yay to that. And with the new hours, we have new staff. So that's all for your support. And let Mayor de Blasio know that we need the funding. But what we want you to do is continue to support and think about FY17, because FY17 is coming up, and we want to make sure that we're able to sustain the hours and the staff that we have. So we say thank you to all.
So starting October 19th, the Worcester Square Library is going to be open 10 to 7, Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 5.
And starting October 26th, the Manchester Library will be open until 7, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursdays, 10 to 7.
Thank you. You should also support the library. Very nice. Okay, Joseph Cassis. Please.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm a lifetime resident of the Bronx, and I'm here to speak about Orchard Beach, the restoration. Next year is going to be the 80th anniversary of Orchard Beach. It was done in 1937, and they started doing work rehabbing it around 1990. They did the basketball courts, the handball courts, and then around 2011, I believe, they restored the beach. They brought in sand, and I guess due to a lot of work to support. And then in 2006, it became a landmark. They landmarked all the lighting, the benches, the bathhouse, the veranda. Now, there's been a lot of wonderful things done. Next year, they're going to put 2 new walkways to the beach, so people have access to the sand, to the water. My question is this: at what point, if ever, will those bathhouses be open? If it's a landmark. We had in 2014 over 1.7 million people visit the beach. Now, you guys have done some wonderful work, the Parks Department and you folks. Can we put some pressure on somebody to get that reputation? Because I would love to use that again. I remember when I was a child, going to the beach, renting a locker, changing my clothes, and going in the water, and then going back and changing my clothes and riding home on the bus, clean.
Okay, Joseph, we will look into it.
Thank you.
Sure, we have the cross committee. Thank you. Next up, Louis Rocco, President of Westchester Square Civic.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lou Rocco, Westchester Square Civic. I'd like to thank the board members. Tonight, I'd like to ask the board to look into some of the services that we get in the area. I've been working with Leticia James' office. I'd like to thank her. We have catch basins that are emitting mosquitoes, thousands of them. I put fly papers down there. Everybody's looking out for Legionnaires' disease, and we've been getting eaten up by all these mosquitoes. You know, I think someone has to take a look at what's going on with our services, sanitation.
We're at the gas stations, yeah. We're at the gas stations, with the locations.
No, I didn't know the locations, I turned them all in, they don't seem to get done. So I put in one to make sure that it would get done, went through the teacher James' office, and they did. I gave this the hardest one, that it was sealed in with blacktop, so I knew they would go there and clean it. What we have is, DEP is sending somebody out, and they're putting white dots to designate that they have cleaned the catch basin. Catch basin is full to the top. They also claim that cars are parked on, you know, I don't want to hear any of this stuff. We need the community board to start working diligently to go and see that these services are not being done. We're getting eaten up by mosquitoes, the state. I called DEP, the sewer line stink, reek of feces. I called them up, they come by with a truck, and they dump some orange, disinfectant down there. They don't want to get out of their trucks. Come on, we need some services, you know? This is quality of life issues. Our lights stay out for a long period of time. Our streets have holes. Come on, we got a community board that's supposed to be working. I don't want to be doing this here. This is not my job. And I'm out there doing it and I get beat up by people. It's not my job. I don't get paid. I enjoy doing it, but I need some help from this community board. I also like to see when you send out applications for block parties that you really look at them. I don't want to hear that they passed and it was mistakes and lies and all of that. That's your job. If you don't want to do it, get off the community board and get people that want to do it. I hate to be so, stern on it, but listen, we're paying taxes, we have no services. I got people coming to me, even with the biosludge. We got a guy, his sidewalk is all destroyed. He goes out and he asks the man, what's your name? They give him actors' names. Now he tries to make a report, and it's an actor's name. I mean, too many games are happening here. We're trying to live in a community. Otherwise it's, I don't know the answer. You gotta do your job. And that's it.
Thank you, Lou.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Although traffic problems have been spoken about previously many times by many people, I will continue to bring this up until something constructive is done. When the traffic light on Cullen Parkway east at Stillwell Avenue changes, that horde of traffic joins up with the horde of traffic that exited the Hutch North at Calucci Park, plus local traffic, and they all cross each other, creating a dangerous crossover in front of the Pelham Branch. How that works is the traffic exiting Pelham Parkway, still at the higher Parkway speed, wants to make a very sharp and quick right onto the very first street they come to. The traffic coming off the Hutch Service Road wants to make a quick left onto Pelham Parkway. Some not even stopping for the stop sign. The traffic from the local streets wants to go to the same place. This makes a very dangerous triple crossover where there are plenty of accidents. The traffic making the sharp right-hand turn, still at the higher Parkway speed, fly over the small speed hump. These drivers become very irate and blow their horns at the few drivers who drive at the legal rate of speed and obey the stop sign. This reckless driving continues throughout our entire neighborhood. Nothing has been done for years to address or correct the lack of safe conditions for pedestrians, drivers, bikers, property, etc. I thank all of you.
Thank you, Joseph. I personally take that every day. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's got to be stopped.
Joe. From Cullen Bay Community Improvement and Safety, Mr. Joseph Patelli.
Good evening to all, and I'm going to pardon my back. I want to face the people. People are important, so face. No. Well, it's all right. Lord knows what I'm going to call. When I talk about it, it really
Go on the side.
Oh, yeah, we have to record a thing, I think.
Do you hear me now? Oh, okay. I still have my 3 minutes, right? Okay. First of all, do we have a quorum this evening, because otherwise it's a moot issue?
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum, or you're getting a quorum?
Mr. President.
You have a quorum, okay, good. Pelham Grant, Pelham Bay Drug Shelter, moved in about a year ago. Their CO is going to expire at the end of the month. I'm requesting the board to send a letter to the building department asking that they do not renew their CO. And hopefully maybe we'll get rid of the drug shelter. That's the one issue. Second issue is that I attended 2 meetings, 2 committee meetings. One of them was over the liquor license. And I'm reading the minutes and I'm urging all the board members, there are 2 applications to extend the hours from 2 to 4 and 1 to 4 in the morning. And I'm asking the board members to vote against this. We need to keep or make an effort here for once, I hope, and not allow or grant these bars to be open till 4 o'clock in the morning. It has an effect on our community and our quality of life. So I urge every board member here to vote against it. And that's it. Oh, most important, I spent an hour and a half with our councilman, Mr. Thacker, this past week. We concluded that I was having a rally at Our Lady of Assumption in Pelham Bay over home development. We have we rescheduled it, give them another week to look into the issue. Hopefully we'll have some good news. As you know, I know Polk City is not dealing with overdevelopment, thank God. But Pelham Bay is dealing with overdevelopment, and it's really affect our quality of life. And there was something else that's important about Polk City that I didn't realize it, and someone brought up at the last meeting, how the architects were so, it was actually the first of its kind that they allocated parking garages for the residents. That's unique. I wish we had that in Pelham Bay, but this was sort of unique, and I think Polk City was ahead of its times. So good thing for that. And I wish Polk City good luck. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have Judy Committee, the board, the mic is open for Nicholas Carone. Band, Johnson County Dance. Yes?
Yes. Hello, my name is Dolores Caron, and I'm going to try and address everyone at the same time as possible. And my partner didn't come in and speak earlier, but I did want to introduce myself to the community and let you guys all know that I am reporting with me this Saturday, and it is really important to me that I get people from the Bronx and from the community to come, because unfortunately I am a professional dancer and choreographer in Manhattan and born and bred in the Bronx, but dance unfortunately in the Bronx doesn't really have a lot of in the broader scheme of things. So I'm really passionate about bringing Bronx dance and also trying to put Bronx on the map for having quality art that is, can also be found in Manhattan.
Can you remind us one more time about your show coming up?
Yes, it's a part of Black Next, which is a dance festival that Bronx Academy of Art and Dance is putting on, and that's this Saturday, 8 p.m. And it will 8 p.m. Yes. At BAD, Bronx Academy of Art and Dance. So that's Westchester Square area. So it's included in the community for 10, and it's bringing awareness to the fact that Bronx is really hit with Legionnaires' disease and also the different water issues that are affecting around the world. So
How do we get tickets again, please?
oh, online. So there's some of these postcards over there, and then my business cards over there as well. Bronson's replacement for the next Bronx PA.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alcaro. I just have to tell you that when I see you would send like the 50 rounds of yours was the city, we're apolitical.
All right, so I won't mention any candidates. I'd like to mention that for people to know that there's an election November 3rd, and if no one has heard, there's been a backdoor deal between Bronson Sheen and the candidate for the Democratic Party.
We're going to press that.
Circumventing voters.
She's all right to speak.
I'm not going to mention any candidate's names. I
You have a right
respect
to
that.
speak, please. Go
All right,
right
thank you.
ahead.
Again, I hate public speaking, but I'm very outraged by the dirty deal between the Bronx Democratic Party and selecting their party nominee, circumventing the voters and denying us a primary. This is not a democratic process. It's not about party, it's just about justice. So I'd like everyone to think about it November 3rd and voice against this dirty deal. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, not close to the issues, you say we have Hattie Overton. Hattie from Section 5 Association.
Oh, this is way up here. Can you hear me? Okay. Patty Overman, I'm coming representing Section 5 Association and also Building 27 Association, which is also in Section 5. I just want to, first of all, let me say real quick, index in Section 5, we also need school signs to inform the traffic that it is a school in that area. You can't hear me, huh? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a real simple issue. We do need school signs because we only have 2 red lights there, and it's only one lane going south and north. Okay, now this, another issue is the Metro North Station, can you hear me, is to be open in Section 5 in the near future. The station, in Section
The
5.
question is about the criminal station in the city.
Yeah,
We're
and so,
going to put it where the tracks are, and the tracks are in Section 5, but it might be located in the city, Dark City, or just right outside.
I don't know, but I didn't finish though. What plans, if any, has been made by the Community Board 10 and River Bay Corporation to address the issues of the cars, the city buses, the school bus traffic traveling on a one-way lane going north or south on the Hutchinson River Parkway in Section 5. And so we just want to know if you're on top of this, because that metro is coming.
Yes, it is coming. And our chairperson, who unfortunately is not here tonight, Mark Prince, and the communication with you on a lot of these topics. We had gone to the New York City Department of Transportation and had a series of conversations about these topics, as well as we went to North Railroad and Amtrak to see about not actually having it in Section 5, but in the area right outside of Co-op City, in the area where they park the school buses. Currently along Amtrak right away, because we were trying to get them to envision a regional rail center where you would have Metro North trains and you would Amtrak trains, because there's no place in Lower Westchester along that line, or in Connecticut where Amtrak really hooks up with Metro North and because of Stanford Connecticut. So we were hoping that they might consider taking it out of Co-op City proper and moving it further down.
Yes, because it's very critical, because it's only one lane. Have you ever been to Section 5? Yeah, and the traffic is only one way.
Oh, I know. And the other issue that we did on the railroads was that we tried to impress upon them the value of doing a regional station on that Metro North station outside of Co-op City to the hookup, because they're only going on about congestion in Penn Station. So we thought that would be a fix.
Can the board speak louder, please?
Yes, we're talking about the Metro North Station that's going to go into the vicinity of Section 5. We're not really sure where the site is yet. They have not dedicated that. And we had suggested an alternate site right outside of Co-op City, which could serve as a regional rail center congestion in Penn Station proper and having the Metro North trains be able to hook up with the Amtrak trains and make it a regional site.
Okay.
I'd like just so you know that if the railroad station is located within section 5's confines, they do not intend to put in a park at all.
But the problem is, it's a one-way lane. You know, that's the problem.
The problem is, well, as always, it's up to the details, and we don't have any paperwork from them to share with you yet, but when we get, we make them aware of these things.
All right. The other question again, any minutes up here? Okay. The zoning committee. I just want to ask this question. Was the community board 10 notified that the traffic from the Bay Plaza Mall was going to be directly in section 5 without notifying the community? Or do you?
No, we had been in conversation for a long time on that subject with the managers of Bay Plaza, the New York City Department of Transportation, New York State Department of Transportation. There is a proposal now that the State Department of Transportation is considering, which will relieve a lot of congestion along I-95 corridor. There is, we had spoken with Bay Plaza repeatedly, and they have put in new routing signs and to get away from Section 5, and they've been trying. So it's a work in progress, but they know that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your answer.
You're welcome. We have the same question about traffic flow in section 5. When he asked you, you left some on it. So if you can answer.
My question is different. Up to a sentence. I wanted to know about the street lights. When you come into section 5.
Microphone, please.
Sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
Okay, I wanted to know about the street light. Like, there's no light under the trellis, under the highway, but we're into section 5 on the right-hand side. And I have a lot of people complaining, because it's dark there. And when they're coming from a movie theater or shopping late, they scared. So they asked me to ask y'all to look into it.
I did that. I tried that. The answer that I received was that they couldn't put a light on the bridge structure, so I asked for a light right before the bridge structure, and I know there is one there already, but I asked this, actually what I have to do is put in a light instead of the entire perimeter.
Yeah, even a glow light, they can stick something there. I mean, come on. And we wanted to know about the railing thing there. It's torn apart. You got wires sticking out. On the concrete. Yeah, no, not the bike path there. With the septic barrier. Yeah.
We have been asking for over a year to replace the Jersey barriers, and it's still in the works, so I'll remind them.
Yes, because you got wires sticking out
I
now.
know, it's there. It's 3 bars sticking out.
And then I got one more thing. The lines.
Yeah, there was a problem with the lines. There's a problem with the lines all over the district, and in general, in the entire city. We have terrible winter, and right now, they're working out the kinks of contract that will get the lines painted. So that's
The walkway is hard.
that's coming. It's coming.
Because cars just go over and no one will see it.
Yeah, that's true. And section line is particularly there,
Yeah.
and we've been on them about that.
And can I have one more thing? I need like a yield sign or something on the right side coming past the light, past building 30.
Everybody knows there it is.
Building 30 is on the hutch. Right on the hutch, facing Mason.
Okay. All
With
right.
the last building coming off the hutch.
Okay, all right.
With the first one coming off 9. When they come off 9, they speed to that light. When they pass that light past the school, they speed to 9. I mean, to hit the highway. We need something just to slow them down. Bold. You gotta slow them down. Okay? Especially before the holidays hit. Okay, thank you.
We have Elsie Collins also talking about extra water.
My question about Metro North has already been answered. It's about whether the station is being part city proper or not, so that's been taken care care of. But I can't hear you. Sorry.
We don't have a location, it might be. We're asking them to move it just outside of Co-op, in the area right now, on the other side of the I-95 where the school bus is going.
Thank you. My other question was, there's some development going on Park City Boulevard and Advisory Loop, right across from the garage. It used to be like a green field that had a sign for the nursing facility. They tore that down and they tore up the sign, and it's been a mess for 2 years.
Yes, it has.
Now there are people in there doing surveying and this and that. What's going on there?
I think it's related to site settlement work, because when it was the Eagle Hospital home, they were beginning to, and I know this because I knew the area, that they had some problems with that front wall, they were experiencing some depressions. I don't know the current status, but I can find out from the building, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, so I'm really concerned that they're trying to build something there. We don't need any more buildings. We just got to build it on the end of that street.
I don't think it's that. But
They're going to clean it up because it is a little bit of a mess.
yeah, they're gonna have to.
We're going to look into that.
I will.
Get it cleaned up.
That'll be 845 Carlson Boulevard.
Right in that area. I'm not exactly sure if the address is that corner, right in the park.
Thank you.
Linda Morris, what's up?
Good evening. Actually, my question is
Why don't you take the mic from your hand? Just take it off this stand.
Pull it off. That's
There you go.
it. My question is tangential to the lady that just spoke. That lot that she was referring to, right across the street, there's a bus stop. That was the big bus stop. Well, at that bus stop, the garbage is also put there. From the, I don't know if it's the hospital, the housing.
Go to the mic.
Okay. On Dreiser Loop and Co-op City Boulevard, right across from the lot that the lady just spoke of, if you stand in the bus stop, there's also where the building put their garbage. So those of us who are waiting for the bus, we have bags of garbage. It's got to be a half a block and high. So we're standing in the street waiting, looking for the bus. So if we're on the sidewalk, the buses can't see us. So we're in the street looking for the bus. So, you know, the bus stop is relatively new, you know, since they put the 50 bus there. But it's also the strip for the garbage. The council towers. Okay. The other question I have is related to Dreiser Loop and Co-op City. The lighting at night is very dark over there. I live in Building 9. If you walk along there, it's dark. Across the street from the garage, we had someone who was killed, bus turning around on Co-op City Boulevard onto Dreiser. It's very dark over there. And I was also told that one of the garage workers was mugged several months ago. So it's dark. Those lamppost lights are yellow, pink, and as with years they get dimmer and dimmer. So I don't know who addresses that issue with the lampposts, but the lighting is really bad. Please look into that. And lastly, who's responsible for those parking signs that's been in Co-op City since the inception? The New York Press, they have designated parking spaces throughout Co-op City.
New York City Department of Transportation actually owns the signs, and they would put them up, because there was a reason to put them up at the time, and I wouldn't know why a press sign would be anywhere except for the fact that right here, because at one point in time, was the city news on Dreiser Loop? It still is. maybe that's the reason.
Well, we need to get those signs removed
Is there a
because the
specific
street.
location that you know of?
Pardon?
Is there a specific location
Yes.
that you know of? Could you
If
tell us?
you go in every section in Co-op, in every city in Co-op City, and then, you will see signs that say NYP, no parking. Okay, if you go to garage 2, it's about 4 spaces designated for NYP. Okay, and I understand that's New York Press, and maybe the days of wine and roses, when Co-op City was new, maybe the press used to come here. But parking, street parking is very precious throughout Co-op City. So somehow someone can look into those signs. Please check it out. And it's not only on Dreiser Loop and Co-op and Co-op City Boulevard. No, it's right here in Dreiser Loop. But if you go throughout Co-op City, we have those signs, and they're taking up spaces. And guess who parks there? People who have who work for the police department, probation department, and even relatives of mine.
Thank you.
Good evening. I just have a question regarding can you hear me?
Yes.
The Common Street Post Office. There used to be a mailbox on the street itself, so that you could drop mail at any time of the day, at night, whenever. And I used to have to drop mail at 3 in the morning. The other day I went there to drop mail, and there was no mailbox. So I went into the facility, and on my way in, there was a mailbox just before the entrance. Now, I asked for that. I asked, why is the mailbox there? And they told me that apparently there's a lot of tampering. Well, that's fine if there's tampering, but once those gates close, there's no access to a mailbox. So I want to know what's going to happen. And the other suggestion I have is, if there's tampering, why can't they build something, put a mailbox with one of those extended slots that you see, when people drive and they used to drop mail in that way. Why can't you do that? And just put the mailbox inside the gate and just let people drop the mail in that way.
Good suggestion.
Thank you. It doesn't make any kind of sense. There's no access to a mailbox.
Well, it's a federal matter, and in the city, we can at least bring it up to the postal service. They're quite amenable to suggestions, so we have. And you might want to reach out to your professional organization.
Thank you.
Stand up, wave your hand. There you go.
Think it's great? President of all the place?
At the place. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm here to speak about the proposed mall that's going to be built, I believe, at the golf driving range. That range that was never used by anyone. So that's what's going to happen to the new mall if they put it in. I understand we're going to build some kind of housing or something. It may not even be enough. We can't even deal with the traffic that we have here in the city. I see the fire trucks going down the one-way street. And we can't even get the
facility, you're right, it's the old Bronx Golf Center. And right now, the property is owned by the New York City Economic Development Corporation. And it is in Ward 12, it's not in Ward 10. And it is moving to become a mall and a shopping mall. And we've been meeting, because we're the board that's directly affected by it, even though it's not our board sure as to what is going to go in there at this point, because it has not gone through the full registration process or the approval process yet, but it will be Board 12, and we're trying to work with Board 12 on that subject as well.
Thank you. Could someone?
Ken, I might also suggest, I believe the Borough President's Office has a seat on the Economic Development Board, so you might want to talk to the Borough President's representative that's here tonight as well. BOEDC, Bronx Overall Economic Development Corp, may also be involved in that. So they may know more about what's coming there than we do.
Where does eminent domain come in? Why can't you just take it over and make
It's already city
trade
property,
land or
the city
something?
wants to get rid of it.
Excuse me?
The city's not doing eminent domain for things like that, but the city already owns it, so it's no eminent domain.
So why
The
can't
city's
they-
looking to diverse itself of property, not take over property.
We
But
need
again,
more-
it's not something that we have any control over, so I suggest you speak to the Borough President's representative on this.
Okay, we need more trees, we have enough traffic.
Yeah.
And we got two garages, two bus garages up there, and school buses that idle during school hours of block the traffic. Thank you very much.
Dr. Harris? Dr.?
Good evening, board. Give me 1 second to pull my mask here. Good evening. My concerns are with Aldridge, well, really with Baychester and Bartow, the intersection. And that left-hand turn that people do onto Bartow Avenue. As most of you are aware of, there's a light with a green arrow that allows you to make that left turn. Now, what's occurring is that when that light changes to just a regular green light, people are trying to beat the other traffic on the opposite end. And what's causing is that with the congestion that happens on the weekend, and of course we're not providing the services of traffic agents in that area, it's a hazard. And I already seen one accident in the past week that occurred here already so far. Now my question is, what is being done with the concerns of that situation and with the assigning of traffic agents on the weekend, especially now the Christmas season coming up?
I'm talking about if you're going north along Manchester Avenue, and then you're going to make a left.
That turn onto Bartow.
Onto Bartow Avenue, they'll bring you out of College City on the left hand. They had put in that left turn, by the way, is considered to be an improvement. They had removed the concrete barriers that were there. They had removed the concrete island that was there. They created 2 lanes and a left turn to relieve the traffic on Baychester Avenue by the mall. And they're very proud of that. They consider that to be a big plus. And that has worked to relieve congestion. As far as the traffic needs are concerned, that's something we can do. It's a very complicated situation. It's not something that is easily resolved. The city almost rents out its traffic agents, so we're going to talk to the mall operators about that. We had them this year for the holiday season, and then they had their own people inside the mall, and we'll talk to them again about that.
Yes, please.
Also, I just want to let you know, November 5th, the 45th Precinct Community Council will be here in Co-op City. We have a new captain, and I'm sure she's going to have something to say about the traffic and the plan for Co-op City throughout the holiday season. So please come out to that. And hopefully
Already have it in my calendar.
Good. The really police department, assigns traffic agents and does all that. But we have a great new captain. She's phenomenal, and I'm sure she's on top of those issues. So come on out. November 5th, we'll be able to give you more information.
And the second question, and this will be it, is there's a section between Baychester and Driver Loop, and it's right after the firehouse. And the traffic tends to run very quickly there in that area. And the concern is that there's a lot of senior citizens across that area, and I think it would be good to put a speed bump in that area or a light. Right on Aldridge.
Unfortunately, in that area, you can't put the speed bump with the fire. There are different alternatives aside from speed bumps that could be addressed, and we can ask the DOT to study that.
Thank you.
Based on the Bartow and Baychester intersection we were discussing, didn't DOT kind of recently announced that they're gonna do another retrofit there, redesign it once again, something. It's supposed to take only 2 weeks to do.
We're looking at a concrete, something along those lines, yeah.
They're doing something there to try and make it easier and safer again. I don't know what the previous one.
DOT's been working on pedestrian safety throughout the borough and trying to come up with different ways to make it safer for crossings, especially in those high-traffic areas where you see a lot of accidents. So they're all working on it.
There's also a long-term effort to try to get a turnaround. There's an effort to get a turnaround over 95 so that when you leave Bay Plaza, you can just turn around without going under that underpass. So that you can, it'll go above 95 and go directly to 95 south. That's a long-term effort that needs to be.
Thank you for that. Janet.
My name is Jasmine Gore. I am a resident of Co-op City, Building 13. And I'm here representing a program called Young Life. And what we are trying to come into Co-op City, we are a program that deals with junior high school age children, high school children, teenage moms, and children with special needs, autism, Down syndrome. And what we do is provide a positive space for socialization. We have camps. We also do college. We have a program for college-age children. College-age young adults. And we are big into community service, community work, so we're trying to have more presence in Co-op City and looking for referrals. So I'm going to be putting some flyers in the back. It's called younglife.org. And we just want to let you know that we are here and we're like to help the community. And we love young moms, teenage moms, and their babies. So if you know any pregnant teenagers, we would love to see them and we give free diapers and formula and all that type of stuff. So I just want to come and say hello and say that we're here. Thank you. Yes, we will be. I have pictures that will be on the table. If you want to look it up real quick, it's younglife.org. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Annie can't hear me. Hi guys, my name is Amelia. I'm a Co-op City resident, and I currently work at the Bartow Pelt Mansion Museum, which is an historic house and mansion located in Pelham Bay Park, less than a mile away from Co-op City. And I'm here to promote a couple of events. The first one is on Saturday, October 17th, that's this Saturday. We'll be hosting the Discover Bartow Pelt Day, in which everyone is invited to come and enjoy free tours of the museum, as well as enjoy some free live music, activities for kids, and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. I'll be giving tours in 19th century era costumes. That'll be a lot of fun. I speak to you guys as resident of Co-op City because Bartow Avenue, as congested as it is named after the Bartow family. So I think it'd be really great if Co-op City residents to come by and check us out. And with that being said, I know Community Board 10 has been pushing a healthy living initiative. So Bartow Pelt Mansion is working with River Bay to produce the B2B run/walk. It's going to be a casual running and walking event held on Sunday, November 1st at 11 a.m. So you guys might recognize me from the community that girl who's always running all over the place. So again, Sunday, November 1st, we'll be meeting at the Hutchinson River Greenway, which is located by 2100 Bartow Avenue. And we're all going to walk to the Bartow Pelt Mansion together using the Hutchinson River Greenway. You can walk or you can run, depending on whatever you'd like to do. And I really would like to invite you guys to join me on this healthy living initiative so we as a community can get together and learn about Pelham Bay Park and the Bartow Pelt Mansion and the wonders that are really right in our own backyard. The flyers I have are super limited, so I'm just going to pass them around the room. You guys can share them with each other, or just like pass to the person sitting next to you. And if you have any questions, I'll be here. And check us out at bpmm.org. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of part of the Health and Human Services, thank you for including us in that. It's really great. Bartow Mansion is always been welcome to talk with other facilities. So tell you, we'd like to thank you so much for including us. Is there any meeting?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Azalea. I reside here in Co-op City. And I've asked a couple of people, politicians, and as of today, I got no response on why Co-op City don't have city bikes here. Co-op City. City bikes. The board told us get city bikes here. The Bronx, I don't even think the Bronx has any city bikes.
It doesn't. And the way this works is, the New York City Department of Transportation program, we're talking about city lights, and this is something the board and I want to address. I asked about city lights and why we don't have it in the borough. And the way it works is that, at least in Co-op City, the neighborhoods have to be contiguous to each other, i.e. right next to each other. So places like Manhattan, where you have Washington Heights next to Hamilton Heights, next to Harlem, will get the city bike program because they are so close to each other. Co-op City, I argued, was a city unto itself, and each section could be almost viewed as a neighborhood. And they said they would get back to me about that, and we will look at it, but that's what it's about.
So you're going to look into it again, sir, and see if the city bike?
Sure.
Just to understand though, if those come here, wherever they set up, you're gonna lose a number of regular parking spaces.
Well, they can find another place to put the city bikes. Okay, we've got a lot of space here in Co-op City. Other than, I know we got a parking problem, but they can find a place to put the city bikes.
City property.
Could you look into that, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Willie Pratt. Vice President Willie Pratt.
Everybody. Good evening, everybody. I brought this matter up before the board about 5 years ago. Approved. The idea that I brought before this board about 5 years ago was generally approved, to have a bus shelter installed at the northwest corner of Ash Road, running into Boston Boulevard. People standing out in the rain, the snow, it's very uncomfortable. And I think the main stumbling block was Mr. Cooper refused to give an easement, 3 feet.
The issue at the time was, the question is, a bus stop shelter at Ash Loop and Co-op City Boulevard, and it came up a few years ago, and we asked it to be done, and we found out that it was an easement issue, and there really wasn't enough public space involved. But I think we revisit it. We can look at it again.
There's plenty of space. It would be nice to,
Sure.
glad and comfortable people who stand there and,
So we will explore that.
The other issue I want to bring up too is, we have a lot of senior citizens across the street on Ash Road, and children, especially in the morning, the afternoon. If you would impose a 20-mile-per-hour speed along Ash Road, I think it would promote safety.
Right now, it's 25 miles an hour.
Well, 25.
It is 25. That's the standard.
Well, they go faster than that. Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, folks, don't accept you for ignoring folks. Sometimes people come in and say, well, we didn't notice you complain, and we come to meetings. Some of this stuff takes years. Nothing I can do about it, nothing they can do about it. Just, we will keep trying for you. You can't just call the agency, say, hi, we need this, and they come tomorrow. All right, but please understand that we are listening to everything you say, and let me down. Okay? And finally, we have dollar stars. That's all we have. About building 10B?
Yes.
we have only had one operating elevator. Elevator number 3 has been out of service for 2.5 months. Building 10B has 26 floors, 6 apartments on each floor. Many of our residents are elderly. Is there something funny, Mr. Boynton? Yes, I brought that to the attention last night at the meeting. I spoke to Mr. Boynton. I've written to the River Bay Board of Directors dating back to September 2nd. I've written to the Chief Apollo, Public Safety, wanting to know what kind of contingency plan do you have in place when there is no elevator service. On 2 occasions, there were no elevator service. And when I reached out to Public Safety for assistance, the dispatcher told me that it wasn't their job. Twice I had to walk down 23 flights of stairs to get downstairs to the first floor. As you can see, I do have physical challenges. And I mean, there's just really not much more I can say on that issue. My second issue is yesterday, when I went to the meeting with River Bay, I understand that a sports bar is in the working to be open where that old Chinese restaurant is, that this will create revenue. I think that this is a very bad idea. I think we have enough sports bars across the street in Bay Plaza. You have enough liquor stores, okay? We don't need, I know you're worried about raising revenue. The one thing we don't need is a sports bar to be on this side of the street to bring in those elements, to put more burden on public safety. We have to discuss what time is the sports bar going to be open until. Okay, did you consider that before sitting down and agreeing to leasing the space out to these people? We have a library. That library.
I think the manager has an expert.
It's not a sports bar.
Well, that's what they said last night.
No, actually, it's all for the liquor licenses, and we had a liquor license come up for that side of the wall.
Okay.
And that's going to be, to our understanding, it's going to be the Chinese restaurant today.
Okay. Well, last night, they said that the Chinese restaurant was moving to where the bakery was, and that that space near the bingo center was going to be a sports bar.
If I may, all of what you're bringing up here right now really is not community board business. You should bring it up after a board. But just to give you information and some perspective so you know what is actually happening, that space, which is presently a Chinese buffet,
Right.
is going to become a Latin restaurant and lounge. And it's not as yet, it's not as yet built. It'll be built once the Chinese restaurant relocates within the mall. Real quickly, the point of issue you raised on the elevators.
Right.
It's something that's, as we mentioned to you yesterday, is in litigation.
Mhm.
It's going to take quite some time. We're probably talking rebuilding the elevators totally in that building.
Right.
So you're probably not going to have that elevator restored maybe at this point 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay,
And
but
unfortunately, it's not in the hands.
right, but what I say to you, when you say lounge, okay, that means to me liquor, and that means late hours, okay? So I think that it's fair that you be more clear about what a lounge is, okay? Because we have a library in that same wall. That library is so little and so poor that I think that you can utilize that space to expand that library so our children can have a suitable place to be. Thank you for that.
I just want to say, all your concerns, please bring it up to the River Bay Board of Directors.
Tony, just a point of interest, not to go against another board member, but if it is about a liquor license and about the community, he is right to speak in front of this whole board. The elevator thing, he's right, but liquor licenses and everything, we've heard this for everything.
Okay, this point, I'll entertain a motion to close the public speaking session. Have a motion? Second. Very good. At this time, I'd also like to entertain a motion to accept the community board 10 minutes of September 7th, 2015. Is there any motion from Mr. Sullivan? Second. On the minutes. Okay, very good. Is there any
I'd like to make a note on the minutes. I'd like to make a note on the minutes.
On the minutes.
On the minutes, we're still missing the minutes from the summer meeting that the executive committee gave us, and our chairman told them they would be distributed to the members at last month's meeting. So I'd like it to be noted that we're still waiting for those minutes that are missing from our packages.
Okay, thank you, boss. Okay, Mr. Randy Toledo, from the Global President's Office.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Just wanted to inform the community about a newly released report that was produced by the New York State Department of Labor regarding the drop of unemployment numbers here in the Bronx. Just to give you a quick synopsis of the unemployment numbers, as of January of 2010, the Bronx had an unemployment rate of 14.1. As of August of 2015, we are currently right now at 7.3% unemployment rate. We haven't had those numbers since the 60s. We are putting a lot of people to work in the borough. There's education facilities and hospitals are our biggest employers, and also the tech industry is making a big dent as well in the borough. If you want to read the full report, you can log on to the Borough President's website. You can read the report there, and also the New York State Department of Labor website as well. And lastly, I just want to inform everyone that on Sunday, October the 25th, it's our annual Tour de Bronx bike tour. So if you are an avid cyclist or workout enthusiast, please participate at this event. You can log on to ilovethebronx.com. I have a bunch of these brochures over at the table on the end. And also, if you happen to be driving that day, just do realize that there are a lot of traffic slowdowns. Country Club does get hit pretty hard. A lot of the cyclists ride through there. And you can also, on the website, you can see the full map of the entire bike tour. You can see where there will be traffic slowdowns. That's it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll now kind of continue with our regular meeting with District Manager's report.
Good evening, Mr. Manager. I just want a couple of short announcements. One is we just finished our budget cycle, and thank you to the members of the community and the board members who came out last night for our annual public hearing. And there's a packet in front of you tonight that will detail the budget priorities that we have put into place. In addition, there will be a resolution from the floor, because we didn't have a quorum last night, that we're going to ask you to approve with respect to the budget, so we can send it off to the mayor and let them know what we need in the way of priorities for the service area. And there's kind of a lot of interesting things that came in, and we're working to try and secure them for the community. On October 21st, between 10 and 2, we partnered with Walgreens drugstore to offer free food shots to anyone who desires them. And that will be along 3165 East Street on Daily. One of the biggest things that we're going to be working on, you'll hear about this later, and I'm not going to go into great detail, is the mayor's housing plan. And it's a very comprehensive plan, and it's very complicated. So we'll hear all about that, and we're going to be holding a public hearing about it on October 27th, and we'll hear more about that later. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to the committee reports.
Sorry, I was going to say, I want to take this opportunity to introduce a new NYU graduate school intern who has joined our staff to assist us in identifying street improvements to the new highway improvements that the state of New York, Thruway Authority, and the State Department of Transportation is going to contemplate the I-95 corridor. And the name is Eric Godwin. To look at how the city could improve the street approaches to the highway approaches that the state is contemplating. In addition, she's going to congestion issues and alternatives to transportation freight by truck, utilizing barges, perhaps a greater reliance on the railroad system that currently exists, and different approaches to the Port Authority and the State Farm Transportation Exam. So, everyone.
Well, I'll be working on this project through the winter and into spring, and look forward to working with you. Thanks.
Want to say welcome aboard to Long Beach? Want to say welcome aboard to Long Beach?
Can you give us the contact information? The board. Give us the board. Go to board. And contact us through the board office.
Yeah, you can contact any concern you have. I'll be receiving through the district manager, and so yeah, thank you.
The next report is the executive board. Martin Prince is not here, so I'll read it. Martin. Mr. Prince, all meetings order at 7:30 p.m. Pledge of allegiance. Followed by discussion. Okay, so it's in your package and self-explanatory. There's a real lot of conferences we brought up the Department of City Planning, got requested the community boards have their opinions on the plan done by November 30th. That turned out to be if anyone is determined that the board will have one meeting, which will be the information session, public hearing. Our decision will be rendered by November 19th. Mr. Prince, we iterated all the importance of all board members understanding the provisions of this plan and said the information on them will be sent out again. Professor Hunt suggested the board employ a computer survey monkey thing to help the survey gain an opinion, so we can see what the membership thought about this mayor's housing plan that's coming up. And we do have a separate meeting on that one. Is that October 27th? October 27th of the meeting. It's very important to come to that. All right, Mr. Dan Curtis attended a meeting at New York City, the airport roundtable with Queens. I think it's some relief in that they take turns and like. And we continue in attendance at that roundtable. Of course, again, Professor Hunter commented on the board of the Health and Social Committee, healthy lifestyle walks and challenges on Facebook. We're going to be having a meeting at Montefiore about the management. We're going to question about the real division. We've had a lot of complaints about lifestyle division. I understand there's going to be a university also. We also mentioned forming a subcommittee within Health and Human Services. Only Julie can talk about Julie. So we'll get to Julie in a minute. And then what we continue to be excited, I have nothing else to be editing for. So I'm jumping from paragraph to paragraph. Is there a motion to accept any of this? So next up, we have the executive board. We have housing is one of the people.
One important step. Both of them meeting one. All right, everyone. There was no housing and zoning meeting this month, but there is a public hearing about the mayor's new affordable housing, which city planning will be there, correct? And a little presentation, very important, very complicated. They say it's only going to affect one area in our board, but we don't believe them. Because this is not just for about new construction. construction, this is about renovating existing buildings. It doesn't look like it's a great plan to be accepted by a lot of people, but there's so much involved, and we have the affordable housing, which is over 200 units going on at the same time, and it's kind of confusing a lot of people. There's two different issues. It raised an article about the AFL-CIO, investing like close to $1 billion in this. That's the other side, not the mayor side. So like I said, it's very important that everyone come out. We'll have city planning going over the tax, the two issues. We'll go over it that night. I believe one was running that night. All right, because I have another meeting that night. I will get that a little late. The other couple of issues we have is City Island. We have a little issue with the yacht club that's going to be coming up in front of our committee at the next meeting. What was the name of that yacht club? That's it. So they're trying to take part of that and make it into a public park, but it's still early, but it's a big issue, and a lot of people from City Island are very concerned. So when you're concerned, it's going to come in front of the committee. And the other was the other strip mall, right, Ken? The strip mall? Baychester Avenue? That's going to come in front of the committee just to talk about it at the next meeting, right? It's in front of BSA, but really the only objection is the big signage that they want to put up there. Right, so, and then we have a couple other things sitting in front of BSA that if anyone's been checking, that's canceling there, but a lot of things are on their calendar, but we have not been notified by the BSA. We cannot act on a lot of things until we're notified by the BSA, so, but we are on top of it. And I can tell you, that Mary Jane has came to reach out to all the community boards about it. He's been doing it, and now they're starting to act like he didn't do it, and they're asking him to get involved, but he's been on top of it, continuing to call up these other community boards to see where they're standing on it. Tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, 3:30? Borough President's office, they're having a meeting on this, and I believe some of the community boards will get together after that to have a little discussion. And then we will have hopefully a meeting beginning of next week on it, right, Ken? Yes. With the other community boards, so whatever anyone has, we'll be doing the best we can to, try and address this issue as best we can, okay?
I'd like to say, thank you very much. That's the most detailed report I've ever heard from a committee that didn't.
And I can tell you, even though I didn't have the meeting, Bob didn't have a lot to say.
Okay, so speaking of that, Jim Wiggins, I think it's nice to watch you. When I come back, well, you know. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You don't want me to sit right here. That's it? You on? Okay, we met on, on October 7th, I'm sorry. The renewal of the license application for the application themselves and establishing. The resolution was read for renewals, and up for renewal was Applebee's at 2276 Marshall Avenue, Mama Wana at 3233 Schumann Avenue.
Mr. Samatemi had comment about 3 establishments, and he wanted us to move the Are you paying attention?
Yeah, we're paying attention.
We don't take anything from the public record we're doing on board meeting.
I forgot which one it was and why.
The resolution was passed unanimously. Resolution was ready to change in method of operation. Casa Restaurant and Bar at 36
07 Schumann Avenue. The only change is hours of operation against their current license from 1 to 4 a.m. Illusions Cookout and Mixology at 3221, 3229 Rochester Avenue between Continental and St. Paul Avenue. This is only a change in hours of operation against their current license from 2 to 4 a.m. The resolution is ready for the licenses. Sangria Cafe at 28 Bartow Avenue. Tosca Marquis at 4034 East Schumann Avenue. Made in Puerto Rico, 3363 East Schumann Avenue. The resolution was passed unanimously, but after the resolution was passed, there was an issue with Made in Puerto Rico. And we had confirmation that the establishment does have adequate security. There was an incident that occurred off premises. They do have adequate security, and they did act properly to defuse the situation. At this point, community concern of establishment of hours of operation be curtailed. Community responded to the SLA as mandated on dictating that policy, which is 4 a.m. Many establishments do not avail themselves to that limit and close earlier. The board office has worked with many establishments with 4 a.m. closing to institute a policy of having last call at 3 a.m. There is also a community concern that the committee just rubber stamps approval. The committee responded that they do reject applicants and is evident as below. The resolution was ready for the new license review. 2 licenses were tabled at the September General Board meeting and sent back to the committee as additional information was requested. Central proof of lease was questioned at the Economic Development Committee, and authorized proof of lease was provided. Central 3392 East Schumann Avenue, under previous owner, unauthorized promotional boxing promotional boxing match, large disorderly crowds, over public assembly limit, overly promoted barbecue, event fighting, injuries, numerous noise, and really crowd complaints. The resolution was not passed, 3 opposed, 2 in favor, 3 abstentions. Coconut Palm meeting with Lieutenant Kakani, question at the Economic Development Committee. Borough Office verified the only person that would Lieutenant Kakani. Coconut Palm Bar and Grill, 2407 Westchester Avenue. Disorderly groups, outdoor consumption, final conditions. The resolution did not pass, 4 opposed, 2 in favor, and 2 abstentions. I know people that live over there, and we did the vote. I went back to them to ask them, how things are going with them, because he does comply every time we ask him something. And they said it's been very quiet, and they don't even know they're there anymore, so that's changed. And they're not sure if it's because of all the work on the trains over there, so we change. There is improvement. Our guest speaker from the South Bronx Overall Development Corporation, SOBRA, which oversees the Zurich Industrial Business Zone, which includes Rush Avenue and Commerce Area. The agency works under the umbrella of New York City Small Business Services, and its goal is the revitalization of IBZ districts. There are a number of ways this is accomplished. Secure financing assistance to low-interest loans and wanting to grow one business. Access incentives as part of the IBZ to help cut costs. Brownfield land that is land contaminated with hazardous waste and pollution that is cleaned up so that it can be transformed into a business development. Remediation, reversing, or stopping environmental damage in an area. The community asks for some work to help local businesses. Triangle Holding Corp., which is looking to close, and needs help in finding a tenant for 50,000 square foot building. So we'll also advise the committee that the mayor feels that IBZs are not successful ventures and is looking to utilize some of the IBZ zones for the support of housing initiative. The committee passed a resolution to be put before the full board to have letters written to the mayor and to the New York City Council in support of IBZ and not have been developed in support of housing. Resolved that the request of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10 will have letters be sent to the mayor and the New York City Council in support of the industrial business zones and not develop the area to support of housing. The resolution was carried unanimously. The meeting was adjourned at 8:45.
are as follows. Resolved, at the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Brown City Board 10, that the following establishments are applying for renewal of licenses have agreed to comply with best management practices standards contained in the stipulations by signing, and further agreed to attend ACAP training, and then they declined to send the state local authority and copy placed in the board's file. Applebee's 2276 Barco Avenue, North 475. Day Plaza Shopping Center, license number 104-241, which expires on 11/30/15. Malawana, 3233 East Shrine Avenue, North 461, Puritan, and Waterbury Avenues, license number 125-8381, which expires on 11/30/15. Patricia's, 3883 East Shrine Avenue, North 465, Julie and Shrine Avenues, license number 121-4591, which expires at 10/31/15. The resolution has unanimously passed the committee, so the motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Resolution passed. Second resolution. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Brown City Board 10 that the following establishments are applying for a change of hours of operation have agreed to comply with best management practice standards contained in the stipulation by signing and further agree to attend ACAP training, and that they decline to send the state legal authority and a copy will be placed in the board file. Casa Restaurant and Bar, 3607 East Sherman Avenue, between Sutherland and Scott Place, is license number 1285, 582, which expires on 5/31/17. It's the only change in hours of operation, and it's a current license from 1 to 4, so it's only 4 o'clock.
Motion to accept.
Ms. Stewart. Illusions, Hooker Mixology, 3231-3229 Westchester Avenue, Review Continental and St. Paul Avenue, license number 1285921, which expires on 7/31/17. This is only changing hours of operation against the current license from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That resolution passed unanimously by the committee, so.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Want to do a roll call? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Okay, so I'm going to call out your name. And when I call out your name, please tell me loud voice what your opinion is, okay? So the first is Caroline Kapoor. Thomas Edmundo. Barbara Barbarelli. Robert Peter.
Yes.
Joseph Boyko. Annie Bowler. Peter Patillo.
Yes.
Colonel William Chin.
No.
Andrew Sharico.
No.
Michelle Davila. Virginia Gallagher. Irene Cornell Lukowicz. Alexis Henry. Rosemary LaFieri.
No.
Diane Locke. Julie Mazursky.
He's over there in the corner.
Julie. That vote. No. No. Mary Jane Fasano.
No.
Nathaniel Pitt. Dr. Alvin Palmer. Yay. Louis Solomon.
Yes.
Michael Piccoli.
Yes.
Elaine Primavera.
No.
John Michael Pavetto. Bishop Nancy Rosario. And John Robert. Peter Sullivan.
No.
17 noes. 9 yes, the motion was carried.
I didn't sign this, so handing it out.
Thank you, board. Thank you, board. I bow to the board for all of you that voted against it. Bow a little lower.
This way I can get it lower.
So just for the record, those, the last two that I read did not pass. Okay, number 4. Resolve the Economic Development Committee of Bronx meeting Ward 10 that the following establishments are applying for new licenses have agreed to comply with best management practices, standards, and stipulations by signing and further agree with ATAC training, and that the compliance with the state of authority and a copy be placed in the board's file. Sagria Cafe, 2085 Walker Avenue, 10475 City Boulevard, and Alcott Place, license number is new. Pasta Marquee, 4034 East Street Avenue, 10465 Miles Avenue, and Gerber Place, the license is new. Made in Puerto Rico, 3363 East Street Avenue, Bronx 461 between Haskins Street and Daisy Avenue, the license is new, and I have note that says outstanding issues resolved. This resolution passed the Economic Development Committee unanimously. So on the motion?
Can we vote separately on that third one?
Yes.
Can we separate that third one?
Which one are you separating?
The Maid of Puerto Rico, because I believe there's still a problem there. That one of the partners was the owner of Pompeii.
I'm sorry, just on a point of order, we need a motion and a second, and then we can go on the question. Okay? We have a motion to accept.
With correction?
We have a motion to accept.
Yes, we did.
We have a second?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
now on the question. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. That's what I wanted to clear up.
I have a motion to
Okay,
accept.
now on the question. Go ahead. That's right, now it's an amendment.
Bob said yes, and I seconded it, right?
Okay, so now we can amend it. That's all, I just wasn't sure if we had that. Sorry, go ahead.
So now you have a point of discussion on the recommendation that was just made.
Well, the reason I wanted to vote on that Maid of Puerto Rico separately is because the partner there was the owner of Pompeii, and we had a lot of trouble with Pompeii, and I believe we will have trouble with this location if he's granted a license. And there's already been an incident at the location, so, you know, think of following what used to happen at the Pompeii.
Also, the hours stated are until 4 o'clock in the morning. And although it looks like it's on a busy non-residential strip, the back of it is faces all backyards of homes on Basil Avenue and Edison Avenue. And at night you can hear hollering, yelling, whooping it up. And it really is listed as a restaurant, and that's what it should be, not to be open until 4 o'clock in the morning. That is just unreasonable for people to like sleep or whatever that's today. That's not the same restaurant. That is the Maid of Puerto Rico on Fremont Avenue between Haskins Street and Basil Avenue. That is the one that is in question that they want to separate.
Maid of Puerto Rico didn't come before the committee, did they?
Yes, they did.
They did come before the
That's the
committee.
one that is Bob Blue, right?
No, that's not them.
That's the
Oh,
steakhouse.
787.
That's not the same people.
No, but you know when we did those girls that were there.
That's not this.
Oh, it is.
That is this?
It is, yes.
You said
Well, she wasn't the one who was involved in the other place. You're saying there was somebody else that's a partner that isn't, that wasn't there?
The partner now in the Made in Puerto Rico location is the owner, that was the owner of Pompeii.
But that partner was not present.
He was. He was, but we didn't know who he was until after he walked out of the room, and then people realized who he was.
Okay.
He just sat there sort of in the background. But then we figured out who he was, and he is that person.
So do you want to pull that back to committee? Can we make a motion to take Made in Puerto Rico out and bring it back to committee?
Well, if we vote, and if we vote against it, that will be the vote.
That's true.
Okay.
And if we vote in favor, we've got to be the vote. Either way, or we can bring it back to committee for further discussion, since new information came about.
Well, we've given the information tonight.
Say again?
We've opened up the information tonight. He was the owner of Pompeii, and he is the partner in that location. And he's probably leading them, which
As
will
I say,
be
there's
a
new
problem.
information. I would suggest we bring it back to committee.
Well, first off, let's vote to separate. And then we'll go forward which way we send it, if we vote it down, or if we vote it back to committee.
You had a motion on the floor to approve the 3 bars as the resolution was read. So you have to do something with that.
We're
before you do anything else.
We're voting right now to change the resolution to separate.
So the first, we can make a motion to pull out Made in Puerto Rico from the original resolution, and then decide what we're going to do with that after.
Okay. Well, we can go on the first two.
What about the motions currently on the floor?
First two parts of
Something
that.
on the floor, it's a motion that we want to amend.
We're on the question.
Forget about what we're doing with Made in Puerto Rico, other than pulling it out of the original motion that's on the floor.
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor, so can we have an approval or a vote to amend the motion to remove Made in Puerto Rico from that resolution?
Okay, I make that motion.
Okay, then a second.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. No one opposed, unanimous. Okay, so now we still have the resolution on the floor for Sangria Cafe and Tosca Marquis, which we need to have a vote on.
Point of information, there needs to be correction on Sangria. It should be Coke City Boulevard and Ash Loop, not Alcon Place.
Thank you. With the amendments, then we have a roll. Then we have a vote. All in favor with amendments? Aye.
And you're only voting on the first,
On the first two.
Yes, the first two.
Right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Now we can move on to the discussion of Made in Puerto Rico and whether or not we want to make a floor motion to accept that, or if we want to just refer it back to committee.
Chairperson? I'd like just to say before we make that decision that the original owners are still involved. It was a husband and wife, now the husband's just involved. He took this guy in as a partner from
Wait, when you say the original owner,
The original
We're talking
owner
about-
is still involved.
Made in Puerto Rico,
Yes.
Pompeii?
Yes, there was a husband and wife there on the last place. The husband's supposedly still involved, right, Ken?
I answer no. Patrick, did you know this?
The wife is selling it to the new lady that was there, so she's no longer going to be involved with
But
it.
the husband's involved.
No, he's not. He sold out. He's got a new, took over a legendary bar on Tremont. So he's got a picture also.
All right, so now you got one person in. Now, you can't hold.
So we're getting different information.
Right. It's got to go back to committee because it wouldn't be right to vote it down just because someone took in a bad partner. We have to bring it right back to committee. Because
So I have a motion to table this back to committee.
got to have a chance to defend themselves.
Motion to table back to committee, Made in Puerto Rico.
Motion.
And a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Go ahead, Dave, take the next one.
I have a question.
When does the liquor license for Made in Puerto Rico, what are they writing under now?
They have a license.
They're selling alcohol.
application made it for you, right?
What are they writing under now?
I'm just saying, right now, the table is put back in committee, so there really shouldn't be any further discussion, except in the committee on Made in Puerto Rico. Let's move on to the next one.
Can I ask, whose license are they operating under now?
Nobody's
The store is
operating,
open.
should be operating at all.
The store is open.
Point of order. Point of order. It's tabled, it's voted on, end of discussion, move on. We don't discuss it once it's
If
been
they're
tabled.
operating illegally, then please call the office tomorrow and let them know so that they can send enforcement.
He's correct. Yeah. Okay, on number 5, on your resolution sheet, and September full board, the September full board meeting resolution for Central was tabled pending approval of lease. At the Economic Development Committee on October 7, 2015, the authorized approval of lease was provided. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Board 10, the following establishment has agreed to comply with the best management practice standards contained in the stipulations by Simon, and to further agree with 10 ACAP training and the compliance consent to the state liquor authority and copy of the board's file. Central, 3392 East Tremont Avenue, Bronx, New York, 461, between Jordan Boulevard and Myers Street. License is new. This is formally the Bronx Beer Garden. Under the previous owner, authorized promotional boxing match, a large assembly crowd, over assembly permit, over walking event, fighting injuries, and numerous unruly crowd complaints were rendered on the former owner, not the current. The resolution passed in committee with 3 opposed, 2 in favor, and 3 abstentions. So on motion.
Motion to accept.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All nays? Okay, we need to do the roll call vote. So on the motion, Karen Moore. Karen Moore? Yes. Tom Akunda? Yes. Robert Morelli? No. Robert Peter?
Yes.
Joseph Boyko?
No.
Annie Bowler?
No.
Peter Cutillo?
Yes.
Kurt William Chin?
No.
Andrew Chirico?
No.
Michelle Medilla?
Yes.
Virginia Gallagher?
No.
Irene Boyle Bush? Abstain. Alexis Henry? Yes, yes, is that yes? Yes, Alexis Henry. Rosemary Fieri?
No.
Diane Locke?
Yes.
Julie Mazursky? Julie Mazursky?
No.
Mary Jane Musano?
No.
Bahani Pitt? Alan Fowler? Yes. Louis Sullivan?
No.
Michael Crowley?
Yes.
Elaine Rivera?
No.
John Michael Rivera? Nancy Rosarian? Tony Salapini? Peter Sullivan?
Yes.
This is the town now. Noes, 2 abstentions, 10 yes, the motion is not carried. At the September full board meeting, a resolution of the Coconut Farm was tabled pending to receive additional information concerning the meeting of Lieutenant County of the 40th precinct. The owner personally met with the lieutenant and did attend the ATAC training. So, resolve the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10 that the following establishment have agreed to comply with best management practice standards contained in the stipulation by signing them, and further agree to attend ATAC training, and that the compliance consent in the City Authority and copy be placed in the board's file. Coconut Palm Bar and Grill, 2407 Westchester Avenue, 10461 Queens Reed, on Rollins Street, license number 116-6169, expires on 8/31/15. In the past, there have been complaints about disorderly use, outdoor consumption of alcohol, and these are chronic conditions. The resolution is not based on the committee, with 4 opposed and 2 in favor and 2 abstentions. So why don't we consider this?
Motion to accept.
No, wait.
That's okay, we still have a motion
That's
from
what
the
I'm
floor.
saying, you're asking. Okay, go.
Shouldn't have been in there.
It should have been in there. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that's-
I'm asking the same
That's
question.
Okay, we have another one. Resolve the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10.
Hold on, before you go any further, okay? In cases of liquor licenses, we have a responsibility to respond to state liquor authority, as the board as a whole. So even though it didn't pass the committee, it should still be brought up and voted on before the full board.
Correct.
The committee is a recommendation to the full board. So in cases of liquor licenses, even though the resolution did not pass the committee, the resolution should still be read and brought up before the full board, so that we can respond to state liquor authority as a full board.
I'll read it again.
Mayor,
You don't have to read it again.
and the reason why I voted no at that time was because I believed that they were still causing disorderly conduct. When I reached out to somebody that lives over there after we had the vote, they told me that they don't even hear me. And this is somebody that, you know.
And they met with Lieutenant Trapani,
And
they made some changes.
Right.
So
So he said that they don't
found,
even know they're there anymore.
they
He doesn't know
found
if
the
it's
reason.
because, he doesn't know if it's because they calm themselves down, or it's because of all the work that's being done on the train, that they're losing business, so he's not sure which one it is, but they're not causing a problem now.
Okay.
So with that being said, the those committee members who voted it down, they changed their vote?
I'm changing my vote.
I voted yes in the first place, so I did not change.
Okay.
We're doing yeses.
I made the motion to accept. Do we have a second?
We need a second on the motion.
Okay, now on the question.
On the question, it's open to discussion at this point, so anybody has anything to say about it, please say it.
I think even though it fails in committee, it still comes before the full board?
We have to respond to the state liquor authority, otherwise we have no say at all. If we leave a guy in committee on a liquor license, then we have no say, we have nothing to say to the state liquor authority, is what we're saying. If we have something to say to the state liquor authority, we must say it as a full board. So even though it's died in committee, because it's a liquor license, and something that we want to respond to the state liquor authority, pro or con, we want our stipulations attached to this liquor license, right? We don't get our stipulations attached if we don't respond. So either pro or con, we need to respond to state liquor authority, and that's why even a liquor license that doesn't pass the committee should still come before the full board.
Point of information, how long is the liquor license good for?
2 years.
And can we make a recommendation that it be 1 year?
No.
No, they can't.
Standard?
No. Yeah, that's. Okay, now, you got more on the question, Mike?
Yeah, because we're discussing it now. I think we have to be consistent. I mean, if the place has had a lot of problems, and now just recently they have corrected, or maybe they've lost business, so those problems don't exist. We still have had all the problems noted, so much so that you wanted to speak with the precinct commander. So you know, we should have some consistency on the board, and I'm not. It's just my opinion that, you know, if we have new operators, we have to give that new operator a chance. If a place has not had any problems, we should give that place a chance to maneuver a little bit to have a better business model. If a place has had lots and lots of problems, and then just recently has not. Well, that's my say.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, on the question, all in favor?
Aye.
You might want to do a roll call vote on this one, folks. How many opposed? No, I'll just do it. All right. So,
So,
We're voting to
okay.
accept that they did not accept.
no,
No.
no, you don't do that. If this is a vote, there's a
Whether
motion,
they're getting it or
there's a
not.
floor motion
Okay,
to
just
accept their
clarification.
license. To approve the license.
Okay, so we're going to
Start
start
the roll call vote again.
Tanner Eckles.
Yes.
Thomas Eckles.
Mundo.
Yes.
Ronald Barbarelli.
No.
Robert Peter.
Yes.
Joseph Waco.
No.
Andy Baldwin.
No.
Peter Patillo.
Yes.
Andrew Trujillo.
No.
Michelle Padilla. Colonel Lee Chin.
No.
Irene Winnell Bush. Alexis Henry. Virginia Gallagher.
No.
Rosemary Thierry.
No.
Diane Locke.
Yes.
Julia Zersi.
No.
Mayor Jane Usano.
No.
Bahani Pitt.
No.
Dr. Alan Ponder.
No.
Louis Solomon. Michael Crowley.
No.
Elaine Primavera.
No.
John Michael Beto. Tony Salvetti. Bishop Nancy Rosario. Peter Sullivan.
Yes.
The motion is not carried. There were 16 noes, 2 abstentions, and 8 yeses. And that concludes the, sorry. Final page. Resolved, request the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, 11% of the mayor and the New York City Council in support of industrial business owners and should not develop areas to support housing. Motion?
Motion to accept.
Question?
Somebody.
No question?
Second?
Second.
Now, another question.
Nobody want to understand it? Everybody understand it?
Go for a vote. Let's go.
Okay, so we're going to vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Any abstentions? One abstention. 0 against. So that includes economic development. Okay.
Youth and Education Committee has a great meeting. I thank you all for reading the minutes, as I know you did. And I just want to say, the board itself, the staff, has done a great job on updating our website with our youth directory. Thank you very much, and the board staff for doing that, and everything else is self-explanatory. Thank you.
Thank you. Municipal services?
Municipal services, okay. Municipal services, I think, has a few street activity permits and a couple of resolutions. Again, I'm sure you've all read the minutes, so I'm just going to read the resolution. Resolved the request of the Municipal Services Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, the street activity permit application for St. Teresa's
Feast Street Festival, July 20th through the 24th, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Set up 3 p.m., breakdown 11:30 p.m. St. Louis Avenue between Westchester Avenue and Hutchinson River Parkway, and Pilgrim Avenue, between Muir Avenue and Santa Donato Place, be approved, and that it be presented to the full board. All those, can I have a motion to second?
I have a question.
We'll get to that, we'll get to that. We gotta have a motion and second.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept by Diane and second by Peter. Now, on the question.
At that meeting, it was discussed that, well, closer to the feast, we could have a public hearing, because the last 2 years, there's been fighting and, well, 2 years ago were 2 stabbings, and then last year were a lot of fighting and stuff, and they promised not to clean it up 2 years ago. They didn't do it last year, so.
Let me just say, the committee had St. Teresa's people in for this meeting. We addressed every one of these issues. The fighting happened outside the area. Many of the incidents that were reported to have been from the feast, the police determined were not from the feast. Okay? As far as cleanup is concerned, we were told that they do have an extensive cleanup crew. They've addressed all the community concerns, and the committee was fully satisfied with their responses.
Oh, the meeting I attended, I don't know about the other meeting. I live down the block. I can tell you that there are business owners and there are house owners that are not for the feast anymore. And they've been going to the feast for years and years, and they've stopped. I can tell you that one waitress from George's Restaurant lived on that block and moved because of the feast. It's disingenuous that the police say that it wasn't from the feast. It might not have been at the feast. It might have been down to Pelham Bay, where the police had to go twice with flaring their alarms.
My understanding of that particular event that I think you're talking about was a boyfriend and girlfriend fight, and that happens every time. So
they were at the feast, Bob. They came from the feast.
Let me just say this. I'm not saying, St. Teresa's is an institution of value, and I'm Catholic, it's a Catholic institution, it's needed in the community. It's just that I point to the Greek, and I'm Catholic, but the Greek festivals that they do, they have their parishioners, and they have everybody there.
They do that on their own property, we have no say on that.
But everything goes good. All I'm saying is that as a community board, we shouldn't see condoms and beer bottles and liquor bottles and fights everywhere over. And I do not want the feast to go away. I want the feast to understand that Father has to do something. And I want the community board this time maybe to read them the rights.
The committee read them the Riot Act, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. You had them in, you read them the Riot Act, you let them know exactly what was expected, okay? So the committee did its due diligence. I can tell you that, Mike, for a fact. All right, we spent a lot of time on that particular topic as a committee. Yes.
I just want to make a statement. I live on St. Teresa. I've been involved with this feast, this would be the 19th year. It has deteriorated over the years. I live right on the feast ground, so it is very difficult for me personally. But I have seen it deteriorated. And I think they have tried, but it's very difficult. We're getting people in from all over.
It's because of the complaints that we called into the community board in the first place, okay? That's why the committee called them in.
We really did. We read the Riot Act, as Bob said. We spoke to them. We had 4 people there. They were telling us how good they do the community and everything. We addressed many concerns. We talked to them about the cleanups, the dirt, the loud, everything. The problems with the police. We suggested to get parking permits that they could make up to put in people's cars so they don't have to be inconvenienced coming home from work, getting out of their car, telling the cops to move the thing, but there was nobody opposed there to face them directly. There was plenty of people on the other meeting we had telling us how bad they were, but when they actually, and they knew that we were calling them in. When we called them in, there was not one person there to face them. Not one person.
And was I invited to go to that meeting? Did you email me about that meeting?
Board members were sent the notices for every meeting and what's on
I
the
didn't know
agenda.
St.
for every
Teresa
meeting.
was coming up that, so I
Thank you,
apologize, I
Was
wasn't
the chair for the
I wasn't
committee?
there.
At this point, I'm going to close the discussion. I think we all know what the issues are, and I'm going to call for a vote.
Every year.
All in favor?
But,
If you want to do a roll call vote, sure.
I'm going to read the resolution so everybody knows.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Just a clarification. Resolved that the request of the Municipal Service Committee of Bronson City Board 10 of the street activity permit for St. Teresa Feast Street Festival, July 20th to July 24th, 2016, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., set up at 3 p.m., break down at 11:30 p.m., St. Teresa Avenue between Hutchins Avenue and Huntsville Parkway, and Pilgrim Avenue between Fury Avenue and San Bernardino Place to be approved and presented to the full board. So now we're going to do a roll call vote. I'm going to call out names, and please let us know. Hannah Moore.
Yes.
Tom Sacramento.
Yes.
Robert Barbarelli.
Yes.
Robert Peter.
Yes.
Joseph Leo.
Yes.
Andy Bowler. Peter Patillo.
Yes.
Colonel Lee Chin.
Yes.
Andy Chirico.
Yes.
Michelle DeVille.
Yes.
Virginia Gallagher.
Yes.
Irene Lubich.
Yes.
Henry Alexander. Yes. Rosemary Pierre.
No.
Diane Locke. Julie Mazersky.
Yes.
Mary Jane Masano.
Yes.
Bahadi Pitt.
Yes.
Dr. Alvin Hunter.
Yes.
Louis Solomon.
Yes.
Michael Coley.
Abstain.
Elaine Rivera.
Yes.
John Michael Vettel.
Yes.
Bishop James Rosario. Tony Sullivan. Peter Sullivan.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, just the last thing, I just want to mention to those folks here in Grove City who mentioned New Jersey barriers earlier, it did come up at our Municipal Services Committee, that New Jersey barriers in the area of Bartow Avenue under the Hutchinson River Parkway are crumbling and require replacement, and we'll forward that on to the proper city agencies to see what we can do about that. That's the end of the Municipal Services Report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. Yes, cultural recreation, you guys.
We have several items that are still pending, the facilities at, I'm sorry. Thank you. The committee did not meet, but we still have things that are pending. The facilities over at Ferry Point Park in the process of being constructed. I think all of you know how many years of planning took us to get the funding for that. The end result is we've had a lot of cooperation in the turnaround road underneath the Bronx Whitestone Bridge. In other words, people that want to go to the new golf course on the other side have to come down to Westchester and come under that round road, which was in terrible disrepair, but now it's everything. And they can get into the golf course, get into the golf course. The other thing that is still pending, we have given an invitation to our new police commissioner, and regretfully she's not able to come to that meeting, but in the next year we do expect to have a nice meeting with her. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Plenary budget, 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Planning a budget committee met yesterday, where we public hearing on the capital and expense budget. We did not have a full quorum, so as a consequence, you will have a resolution to vote on tonight, which we did not pass in committee since we did not have a quorum. The document that was distributed to you this evening is the capital and expense budget for the coming year. You all have this thing? 43 pages. In the old days, again, in the old days,
Yes, it was so
in the old days, when there was Sesame Street, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the way we itemize our budget priorities. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Both these were done on an 8 by 11 sheet, capital, expense, and a couple of additions to justify why we had the capital expense budget items and why they were needed. The city came out with a new format. It's what we call Paper Simplification Act by the federal government. I used to file an 8-page packet